And here we go. Everybody, please behave yourselves because we are officially going on live. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Olga, also known as Olichka. This is just a cute deviation from my Russian name. I do speak Russian, although I'm not Russian. And my nickname that you might also know, my business name is Maker of Beauty. I am the admin of Cricut Tips and Tricks group, and this is our first official Zoom, group date. We're hoping this is going to be one of many, where we will have a chance to discuss about the things that's happening in a group. Give the group a chance to meet us, who we are, what we're all about, and just address some of the trends that we see coming, in a group. With me, I have two of my lovely moderators. We don't have the entire team, but we do have the representation. So some representatives. So it's not just, Olichka's show. Ladies, please take it away if you just want to quickly introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Barbara. Oh, I'm really loud on somebody's back end there. But anyway, my name is Barbara. I live in the beautiful town of St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm freezing in Atlanta right now, though. I've been a moderator for about 4 months, so I'm still learning. But I think that Olga has a nice set of rules, and it's easy to follow along if you just actually read them and read all of the great information she's already put up in the group. I've been using Cricut for about 3 years now. I don't sell things necessarily. I just do things for gifts and for my own personal use. I would consider myself pretty technically savvy, so I usually try to hop on when people have problems with the computer or just figuring out like what they're doing wrong in the program. But other than that, I try to avoid all other topics because I know that technically I can handle things. So that's me. Hi.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I live in the DFW area of Texas. So I'm a country girl mostly. I didn't start the Cricut journey until the latter end of 2020 after a friend of mine was talking about hers and she intrigued me, but I've been doing all kinds of crafts since I was a little girl. My parents did craft shows as I was growing up. So I've always been involved in some sort of craft, whether it's painting, building furniture, creating signs, sewing of some kind. It's always been there. And that's pretty much me. I enjoy helping out with the group. It's been a blast.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And I certainly appreciate all the help because God knows with all the, posts that we get on a regular basis, your help is very much appreciated. So tonight's topic is going to be going over the rules and just, helping people to show where they are and also give you some insight into why we have the rules that we have. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. And Linda, I completely appreciate the fact that you perhaps already know, where to go to look for the rules, but our hope is that we are going to share this video with a group. I mean, whomever is going to join us now, that would be lovely, but if people are not joining it, that we will make it available for the people in a group so that in the future, we get our, 1 million tenths question as to why did you moderate this way versus like that way. We have an answer and we don't have to recreate the wheels again and again and again and save a bit of a time on retyping essentially the same answers. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and I'm gonna show you where the rules live. That does not change, it's always there. The rules will always be found as a pin post under an announcements. I do use announcements for other things, but you can pin more than just one thing in there and the rules stay on at all times. You might have to stroll through and I apologize about that, but at some point you will go through, as you go through, you will come to them. I have a couple of disclaimers to start it off, and then it just jumps straight into the rules. We have currently 10 rules. I think they are well developed, well designed, and they give us a very good infrastructure, the platform and a base to work off. They're flexible. They were developed as a result to the trends that we see, happening in the group. With that said, that, should a need arises that we feel that we either need to change the rule or introduce a new one, that tends to get very, it gets communicated to the group. There is no hidden agenda. We're very transparent. We put it all out there, and we would like the group to be a little bit more interactive with us and just know, where to go for the answer. So I'm going to take the rule number 1, which is intellectual property. Unfortunately, because our machines don't come with a manual on, like what is a copyright and what is a trademark, that particular rule tends to be very, very, very heavy and hot with the crafting groups in general, right? And so I will be honest, my own understanding about the copyright is a evolving knowledge. It's evolving process. It's a complicated, but we'll definitely have a Zoom meeting dedicated to just that one thing. But in general, if you did not create it, right? If you just went to Google, grabbed an image, you cleaned it up in a design space or using plethora of other technology available to you, we will not support that. We will speak against it. We will not approve your post. I know there is a lot of confusion about like the Disney, right? In particular that why do you allow Disney, but you won't allow, for example, Nike? We allow Disney because Disney has a license with a Cricut. It allows its digital files to be obtained through the Cricut subscription. We give you benefit of a doubt that you had obtained those images directly from the Cricut. So if you share a beautiful shirt with a beautiful Disney design and you don't disclose where it had gotten from, we don't know where you got it from. So therefore, we honor you by assuming that it had come from a reputable source such as Cricut subscription. And we are the group to talk about all things Cricut. However, if somewhere at some point you will disclose that it was a screenshot from Google or you bought it on Etsy, which is a big no-no, it doesn't matter, what the disclosure on Etsy seller shop it says, it's illegal. It's a copyright violation. We will not approve it. Okay. So moving on to number 2, let me just quickly jump on agenda and see who's covering number 2. And Mandy, you are up for number 2.
All right, so that's the picture conversions. Basically, if you've got a picture, it's typically your own picture that you're going to try to convert over to an SVG, or you want the background removed, or you want a certain particular part of it removed. Asking somebody in the group to do it for you does not help you learn how to handle it on your own. This is a tips and tricks group. We want you to advance in your knowledge and your ability to use your Cricut and the software that comes with it and any of the software that you can use with it. So by asking other people to do the work for you, you're not really learning how to handle it on your own. Asking for tips once you have converted it, saying, hey, it's too dark, it's too light, what did I do wrong? Do you have a better converter that I could use? That's excellent. That's great. We don't mind you asking questions about what converter do you use? Which one's the better one? Which one's more user-friendly? Which one's easier to use for someone who doesn't know how to use a computer? Those are excellent questions. And we even have a video tutorial from YouTube on there. It goes to a guy named Adam Makes Everything. It's a great video. I've watched it several times to help me convert pictures. And he's very detail oriented, and he makes sure that every step is in there. So I think that pretty much covers that.
Okay, so let me jump back on agenda. All right, we are moving on to rule number 3, and Barbara, you get the pleasure to explain that one.
Yes, well, so generally it's always easiest just to go and ask a question somewhere without maybe looking a little bit beyond, I'm just going to look at my post and not worry about it. A lot of questions are asked over and over and over again. So I use this one to refer people to either one of the albums that Alechka has worked really hard on. See, Alechka is not only a mom boss, but she's like a working boss. She's a side hustle boss, and she's done all this stuff on the backside to make sure that we have great resources right at our fingertips. So you don't have to wait until the moderators go through 200 posts to perhaps get your question answered. If you go through, particularly if you go to the vinyl tab, because the vinyl tab is like one I always refer people to. Laptops, that's fine. We can use laptops. Because that's another question that's always asked. We ask you to just go there and look through the material to maybe narrow your question, rather than saying, what's the best laptop or what's the best tablet? Sometimes it's easier to ask, hey, what do you think of this HP versus this Dell model? And then you can actually get people who use those products rather than just people telling you what their favorite is. So it'll behoove you to do a little bit of homework on your side before you ask the question, because you're going to get your answer better that way. I also use this to tell people to use the search function, which if you go to the top of the group, Alechka, just go out to our main page.
Before you jump on that one, can I just add one other thing with regards to like, okay, so one of the things, I wanted to point it out is that, I don't necessarily want to be the only person to give an opinion, right? Because what we want is to stop the commonly asked questions and give people a base and a platform. So I utilize very heavily topic feature, which is a way to basically categorize posts, right, in our group. And so whenever possible, I will always provide, right, an additional link to go to the topic. This is where you will find different posts made by members of our group who also had contributed to the same subject. So it's not that this is just my opinion. This is more like, this is a base, and then here where you can go elsewhere, like to get a little bit more additional information. But Barbara, I am jumping on a search, so give me 1 second. I just have to get back into the group. A quick detour. Okay.
So if you use that search function, you could just type in organization.
Organization.
And you're going to see that it's going to pull up all the posts with the word organization in it. So you can look at, a lot of questions we get is, what do you do for organization and storage? There are literally thousands of posts that are right there at your fingertips, rather than you asking people to recreate all the things that are there already. You can just go ahead and look at all the posts that are already there. So that's the other way that I refer people to go look at commonly asked questions.
Right, and let me just add that the reason that we want to do it, right, is because we want to honor people who have been with us for a really long time and who are experienced Cricut users, and they're participant in many other groups besides ours. And so they're constantly bombarded with the same questions again and again and again. How do you store vinyl? What is the best printer? How do you start with sublimation? How do you do Tumblr? What is the template for Starbucks, right? These questions I ask just to give you some statistics. In our group of over 300-some thousand people, the printer question averages anywhere between 25 to 45 times a day. Mm-hmm. If we were to allow that every single time, we would literally have no more real estate space for anything else. We want quality content, right? We want it to be interesting, relevant, new, and exciting. And so, we're trying to meet it halfway. All right, moving on, we got number 4. And Mandy, it's back to you. And I'm going to jump to questions.
All right, so we're looking at fonts. The biggest thing, and just before I got into the chat earlier here, I was in pending post doing approvals, and I declined 5 posts in a row with different pictures of different items that said, hey, what is the font for this? I've looked on DaFont and I couldn't find the font. But there are other font finders out there. You can go to, like what it says in the rule here, whatfontis.com. Or like I like to do, I just go to Google and type in font finder, and like dozens of different web pages pop up to where I can take a picture of it. I can take the picture on my computer, crop it down, put it in there, and it typically finds exactly the font that I'm looking for. Very seldom does it actually say no results found. But then there's also a word market. It will help you find comparable fonts. Plus, it'll keep up with the fonts that you have downloaded already. I don't use word market. I don't have that many fonts downloaded at this time, but I'm still a newer user. But I'm sure someone like Barbara or Olga will probably have quite a bunch of fonts saved on their systems.
And another thing is that, about the fonts, the reason we have that in place and we don't allow it, because, unless it's a very commonly recognized and a popular font, in order for people to give you the answer, they would have to go through these resources. So essentially, whether you understand or you don't understand, what you're saying is that I don't want to go to this resource. You go there for me and give me the answer. There is no way for me to give you an answer unless I will do those steps, right? And, our time is just as precious as yours. So, please try to be independent to a degree. Also, let me point it out that there are groups out there that are dedicated to trying to help you to find the font. And, if you are constantly coming across beautiful fonts that you want to find out the names of them and where to get them, be the paid version or free version, consider joining those groups. All right, number 5, that would be, Barbara, back to you.
Yes, so this is the F following, I'm putting this dot here because I want to follow this post message. Can you imagine posting a question, a really good question, and you see that you have 70 answers and 50 of them are just the letter F? That is frustrating with an F, really frustrating. So we ask that you use the dots up in the corner of the post to receive notifications. All you have to do is turn notifications on and you will be notified until you turn those notifications off. I promise you it works. It works from cell phones. It works on the computer because I use it all the time. So please, if you could just not use the Fs, because it's really frustrating when people are asking questions and all they get is, oh, that's really cute, or I'm following because I have the same question. Like, just use the dots. That's all.
Also, I'd like to add the 3 dots. If you believe that the 3 dots and clicking turn on notifications is not working for you, you can also do the 3 dots and just click on save post and then go to your page and go to your saved post, and there's the post. So there are 2 ways underneath the 3 dots to where you can do it. You can get notifications like Barbara was talking about, or you can save it so that way you can go back and look at it later.
All right, we are moving on and we are going to number 6. That would be
Lucky Mandy.
Yes.
Mandy, continuing on with you.
All right, so number 6 is about manners and etiquette, being nice, respectful to each other. We're all here to learn. We're all here to teach. What little bit I have learned over the past few months, I teach it to the new people. I help them out. I make comments. Sometimes I don't even approve a post because I know the answer right away and I just decline it with their answer, and I get messages back saying, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. It worked perfect. I love that. What I don't like is when I'm in the group and people are being disrespectful to each other. They're not helping each other out. They are talking down to each other. They're just not nice. And that's so hard nowadays to find, is nice people, it seems, online. Everybody's these keyboard warriors and they want to put how they feel out there. And that's great and all, but be respectful about it. Be nice about it. Don't come off as being the wicked witch of the West. Try to be as respectful as you can to the other person, because one of these times you're going to have a comment and those people are going to come back and they're going to comment on your comment, and they could very likely be just as rude to you as you were to them. And that's not right. That's not great. we want everyone to be happy in here, to be safe in here, to be nice to each other. I mean, I don't want anybody yelling and cussing at me or telling me that what I've done is crap. But at the same time, I don't want them to say, oh, that's lovely when it is crap. I want them to say, hey, you'll get better over time. That's a great, respectful way of saying something nice to people without being mean and ugly.
Right. Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, like you said it very well, right? The constructive criticism is always welcomed as long as, its delivery is professional, it's respectful, it's on point, and it's not about like bringing a person down, but instead of, critiquing them to help them to improve. With that said, if somebody says like, look, I just wanted to, like, that's not what I'm looking for, you also have to be an adult enough to hear them, saying like, that's not what I'm here for, and move away, because ultimately the group is about crafting. We need to stay on point, we need to stay classy, relevant, and it's certainly not fair to impose your feelings and your poor manners on us, on other people, and then expect that there is no consequences for making poor choices when it comes to manners and etiquette.
Yeah.
The
And
only
the
thing,
other,
the only
go
thing I'd
ahead.
like to add to that is that, sometimes when you're talking via text or, posts to other people, sarcasm doesn't translate well. Not always
Yeah.
your best intentions translate well. So just, keep that in mind, that, you could say your piece without, being mean about it. That's all.
As you guys can tell, we feel very strongly about that one. Because
Yeah.
all three of us had to say
Yeah.
something.
The other half of that one real fast is if you come across comments or people who are being rude or disrespectful to each other, please don't be the keyboard warrior and jump on there and try to diffuse the situation. Click on it, report it to the admins, to the moderators. Let us handle it. We do get a notification when a member reports a comment or when a member reports a post. We do get a notification, and one of us will jump on. There is typically somebody on 24/7. I work night shift on my job, so I am up all night. I'm able to get on here and handle these when everyone else is sleeping. So please don't hesitate to report something if you think they're being disrespectful or lacking in manners. We will make the decision whether we keep it or not.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on to number 7. That one falls on me to explain. So this one is, to me, it's quite straightforward. We are interested in your craft. We're interested to know what you can do with a machine, right? Like how you found it, like an interesting way of stringing different materials together, putting something unique, and or whatever it is, as long as it's craft related. And we also understand that your religious, your personal belief, your political beliefs, right? Like they are an extension of who you are. And yes, we have crafts that represent our political convictions, personal convictions, and so on and so forth. So typically, we will allow, we will approve a post that carries a craft that also carries your political message and statement and so on and so forth. That's absolutely fine. What is not fine is start to debate about it, right? So whether you believe that green is good and black is wonderful, but blue is just absolutely gotta go, right? We're just not interested. We're not that group. There are specific groups that allow you to come in and express your beliefs. There are groups where you can go and have a religious discussions, philosophical discussions, and so on and so forth. We are not that group. We are a crafting group, and we ask that everybody stays on point. Now, sometimes in some situations, the climate can be so hot that it's a guarantee that even though typically like we're perfectly okay with, certain crafts with certain messages coming across, like we know that no matter what we do, it will end up going into the area of debate. And we only have so much manpower to control, not to control, but to moderate. And so we make a judgment call not to approve those posts, because we are not getting paid for being, for running this group. We all have jobs, we have children, we have husbands, we have wives, we're busy. This is more of a community service type of like setup, because we love it. It's great. We want to continue on. But with that said, we will not take on this responsibility of babysitting and monitoring every single post that is about to go hot, considering that we have anywhere between 650 to like almost 1,000 posts a day. It is not the ask that we would honor. Okay, so I'm done with number 7. Does anybody else have anything to add to it, or can we move on? Are we good to move on to number 8?
Go ahead.
Okay, so number 8. This is the promotion, either yourself or outside. We definitely want to see your creations, but not so much your referral, affiliate links. We certainly do not want you to be sharing the links to other groups. The reason to that is not because we're afraid of competition, because guys, it's very hard to hide competition these days, okay? Everything is very transparent. You can find it, it's on a Google. What we want is we want quality content. And if we open up for the members of a large group to start sharing everything, very quickly we will become a dumping ground. Everybody who just started out the business page or Instagram or whatever, Etsy page, people are going to be coming in, not for the purpose to contribute quality, for the good of the whole group, but it's going to become, promoting yourselves and hoping to get the traffic and the followers. Like, we completely recognize and we understand that, everybody's chasing the traffic, right? Like, getting people to pay attention to them. We understand. And we do have, things that we offer to support people in an organic and in a mature and respectful way. But this, this blunt resharing of everything, it's a hard no for us. All right, we are moving on to number 9. And I think number 9 is also mine. Is it? Yep, okay. Number 9, so no sales. We simply do not want an added headache of deals going bad. Because ultimately, right, even though the deal is happening between 2 individual members, 2, independent adults, if something goes bad, it will come back to us. It'll be forced, we will be forced to mediate, and it's just additional responsibility we do not want to be responsible for. We are not a selling group. We are not, a group of, to sell the excess of your crafts, your vinyl, and so on and so forth. No, we're a crafting group. And I do have a very detailed post written out on helping both buyers and sellers in general, just sharing some of the tips and guidelines on what you can do to keep yourself safe, because buyers can be taking advantage by the sellers and vice versa. But in general, if you have, I don't know, 20, sheets of vinyl that you're trying to sell, Facebook Market, Craigslist, much better, safer bet than our group. And now we have number 10, and I think for number 10, we have Barbara. You get to finish our last rule. Take it away. We cannot hear you. I believe you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, I muted myself because I didn't want you hearing me drink my water. So moderators intuition. That's like going to Burger King and telling the guy who's cooking the burger how to flip it or how to make it for you. We get posts all the time that have, no joke, we can always tell when the moon's full in this group, right? Because we could just look at the posts that are coming in and, we look at something and go, oh no, we cannot let that go through, because it'll just become a firestorm of people breaking other rules like manners and etiquette, or they'll start dumping SVGs in the group. And we can't have that happening, because Alejka, how many posts do you say we get a day? At least 800 requests to post? Okay, at least 800 requests that we're going through, the handful of us, 4, 5, 6, sometimes of us going through and approving things. That's a lot of work. And on top of that, we try to answer questions in the group, and we try to interact with the other members and help, solve, complex, crafting issue problems or requests for, weld versus attach, right? So, if we get a post and we just go, oh no, this is going to go south real quick, we're not going to let it go through. Like, just don't even try it. if you go, this is going to cause some drama, just don't send it to us because we're not going to post it. We just won't.
Yeah, to that end, I want to add, right, like there is a lot to be said about the experience. I mean, like when I look at myself, like in my professional career, daytime career, I'm a clinical analyst, right? I started off at a help desk and today I'm a level 3. And, like at this point, like I know what the customer is asking, like literally maybe like 5 minutes into the conversation, not because I'm so amazing, but because I have over 12 years of experience. And so the mother intuition is exactly the same thing. We have seen enough of the posts and the trends to know that if it's worded this way versus that way, like the version A is going to blow the group up and version B is going to be fine. Many times when we do have the time, right, if we're not overwhelmed with the post approval, we will actually decline and we'll make a suggestion on how you can reward your posts. And, if you do that, we will approve it. There is a big difference between saying like, can you please share your templates? Well, what does it mean, right? I mean, it's like when you're saying like, can you please share your templates? That most of people will understand as it's like, let's have SVG dump. We don't support SVG dumps. We will not allow that in a group. And, should somehow it start happening on a post, we will quickly shut it down. But if you were to repost it and say like, I'm looking for, I don't know, a kangaroo. I wanted to have the one with a flower. I cannot find it on Etsy. Can you guys tell me where I can go and buy it? Or, or if you have a link to a free download, please share. That's absolutely fine. We will definitely approve that, no problem. All right. So this concludes all the 10 rules that we currently have in the group. Please understand that they are not static. They are quite flexible. So should anything change in a rule, we will definitely communicate that. And now, moderators, do you have anything to speak before we turn all our joint attention to Linda? No pressure, Linda, no pressure. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so we'll go back to having it. Anyways, Linda, we definitely reserve the time for the questions. So if you have any questions for us, now is the perfect time. So take it away. Let us have it. You just have to unmute yourself because you're on mute right now. Yeah, there you go. You're good.
I have no questions regarding rules and regulations. Okay. Everything was very clear cut. I understood all of them. No, but I'm just new. And so, the tips and reading through people's posts helps me because it gives me ideas and sometimes answers to what my dilemmas are in trying to figure out Cricut. So, right. Yeah.
And personally, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you're finding the group useful. I've been in the crafting groups for going on my 5th year, and I'm actually in quite a lot of them, right? And you see a lot of similarities between all of the groups, and you see same struggles and everything else. So, I'm trying to come up with the creative ways that helps people, right? So they don't feel rejected and they do get the help and the information that they need in order to enjoy the experiences. Because personally, I feel that Cricut had changed my life. It opened up so many things, it's like taking me on this wild journey. It all started off with, I didn't want to sit and cut papers by hand. And I was like, I'm sure there are machines that can do that for me. And lo and behold, there are machines that could do that for me. So,
yes.
But
yeah, I'm enjoying it. So far, it's been just some signs and some glass etching that I've done. But I am enjoying seeing what is possible with it. But I do appreciate some of your rules, like you were talking about the people just posting F for following. Sometimes when you see that good question in a group and then you see 20 Fs after.
Oh,
it.
20 is nothing.
Yeah, 20 is nothing.
We had
Oh,
this
I don't keep
post.
looking after that though. Then I'm scrolling already away from that.
I think was one time as an exercise, right? We actually said, well, like let's count, and I think we counted. It had over 100 some comments, right? About 4 to like I want to say maybe like 7 of them that were actually like relevant to the post, and over 100 of them that were Fs. We were laughing so hard. And that was the night that we decided we're gonna have F. We said this is too much.
Yeah, that was before my time. That was back
Yeah.
before I was a mod. And just earlier before we started the chat, I was in removing Fs and follows, and there was a post that had 17 comments. 9 of them were F or follow.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, more than half.
I
Yeah.
loved that the post for this meeting had a follow on it, had an F on it.
It did.
I said, is this
It
woman
did.
for real? Is this person for real?
She didn't read the rules.
I also find it very interesting, right? Like when people come in, then they say like, oh, but like I didn't know where to look for rules. And I find it very interesting, like to hear that feedback because, so first of all, I don't really admit anybody in the group unless your profile shows that you've been on a Facebook at least 2 years, right? So if you've been a Facebook user for 2 years, the likelihood of you being in at least, 5 groups is very high. I mean, like, I'm pretty certain, like, that I'm very accurate with my number. Realistically, you're probably in at least on average 3 other groups, right? They might not be all crafting, but how the groups are managed is very consistent across, like no matter what topic. Like all of the admins will use about and announcements to, plug the rules in.
Right.
Like it will be in the description. I mean, there is so much similarity, and you've been on a Facebook for 2 years. I have a hard time believing that you have no idea where to go to look for the rules. I mean, when people say, I'm in so many crafting groups, I don't remember who has what, then I will trust, right? Especially if I see that you're in 25 other groups. Like then, you're right. Like I understand, like Melody Lane rules, have one thing, the Cricut for beginners and, whatever, like whichever versions we have, like they have their own rules. Totally hear you. With that said, when I was starting it out and I was trying to pitch in, like for my own Etsy shop and whatever, before I posted, I would make a copy of my post to make sure that like I don't lose it, right? And then before posting in each group, I would go read the rules and be like, okay, safe to post here. Like this is how they allow to the post, and I would just honor it, right? So if you're chasing after a sale, that's what you have to do if you want it to come through.
Yeah, I'm in about 3 Cricut groups actually, or 3 groups that do Cricuts and silhouettes. This is my main one. I haven't posted in the other 2. I'm in there to see what they let their people get away with, and to see if I see any of the same people posting in all the groups, because a lot of times you'll get a lot of the same information from all the groups. Sometimes you get some bad information from groups. I've yet to see that a lot, but I too, before I make a post in a group, will save my post like in a Word document or a notepad, and then I'll go and read the group's rules before I post, because the last thing I want to do is have my post not approved, have it removed, get removed from the group, or basically, quote, as some people have put it to me, get in trouble with the group. Because I want an answer, obviously. And if I want an answer, I need to follow the rules that they've set in place. But at the same time, I've noticed there's a huge trend of a lot of the groups having a lot of the same rules.
Right. Well, I think part of it is because, it's like as people start to create the rules, right, they go and look what else have done it. And they're like, well, that makes sense. And sometimes they will plagiarize, and sometimes they will like work off that, but it is what it is. But, when you said that you go to the groups that have both like Cricut and Silhouette, like one of the Zoom meetings, we should have like a debate society, like Cricut team versus Silhouette team. We should just let everybody go live at once.
Oh, that would not be fun. I can't say what that would be.
amazing.
I have really, really enjoyed my Cricut since I've gotten it. I have made shirts. I did so many Christmas presents. One side of my family this past Christmas, it was a very merry, crafty Christmas. I don't think there was anything that we actually just bought for people that came pre-done. Everything we gave was some sort of a craft that I had done.
Wow. My family also displays a lot of the stuff that I've made, and I mean, like, it just makes me feel like, very warm and fuzzy. And like I did this. So my specialty started off with the paper flowers, and my backdrops and my installations gotten progressively better, right, as experience comes and whatnot. And like, I'll look at through some of the pictures that we did, against the backdrops, and I'm like, my God, like, what a memory we managed to create. It's, absolutely wonderful. So, but this is 10:51. I'm happy to give you guys 9 minutes back into life, unless you want to, go exactly until 11 o'clock. But otherwise, Linda, thank you so much for not being afraid to join in, and we at least had one audience. Not that it would stop us from having this meeting anyway, because like I said, our plan all along is to record it, and should people have questions, well, you guys can hear what we have to say on the subject.
So Alechka, are you going to add this to the end of the group rules, or are you just going to post it in the group?
I'm not sure. I will definitely post it in the group for sure. And I think I actually might add that to the rules somehow too.
Yeah, like at the top or the bottom or something like that.
Right. But I think for it to be relevant, we really need to plug it in the rules that populate when we decline the post. But we can talk through, can talk through it, later on in a group. So
okay.
Linda, we collaborate a lot.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Linda.
Ladies. It was nice meeting all of you.
Likewise. All the best.
Likewise.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.